All right, friends and family, it is Trent Knox in the building, and this is going to be a podcast from the producer's desk because I have been in and out of the studio today doing laundry, catching up on households things, and doing the chores and capers, etc. So although that the content desk is set up, I just wanted to sit in and do this podcast on the producer's desk. I also hung 3 of my diplomas from all the way back into high school, into college, and I'm looking forward to getting the next diploma soon. Obviously, I'm in my MBA program at Western Governors University, and I will be completing that sometime in the near future, sometime soon. Right now, I'm taking it slow because I am balancing the entrepreneurship, freelancer, consultant, whatever you want to call it, world, plus just regular everyday personal life. And so maybe I should be, rushing to get it done to save money because WGU has an interesting program where you can, get as many courses done in one semester for the same cost. But I think where I'm at in my life, I'm happy taking my time, learning through the process, and gaining this education for an opportunity down the line. And maybe that is at a Fortune 500 or something like that, or at one of the top brands in America, or maybe even abroad. I don't know. I know that what I'm doing is trying to better myself and do that through education, and I think my choice was a great choice so far. I've really gotten a lot of value out of the programs and courses that I've taken so far and completed with WGU. I'm working on creating more content, and this is an example of the content that I'm looking to continue making. So I intend to put out a daily blog about a topic within the creator economy that is a tip, a trick, a skill, something that will add value to the reader's understanding or execution or implementation of something within their creative journey. This could be a corporation or an individual. Whoever I'm able to reach through this blog, I hope that they take the information and they implement it into their lives. So I'll probably create a guidebook soon of the way that I'm approaching this. And so there is the daily blog that'll go out on blog.trentknox.com. And then there's the podcast, and that's something that I've fallen behind on. And I really want to get back in the groove as far as the podcast goes. I need to do interviews. I need to do life updates. I need to do reporting things, or like just giving my opinion on the world or current events. I need to get that off my chest through podcast form. And I know it's still a video. It's still a long form video, because I will be publishing this to YouTube and the YouTube podcast, and also on Spotify as video. But the distribution of the audio will be across all platforms that distribute audio. Those are sort of, I guess, contracting in a lot of ways, because YouTube and Spotify have figured out that they don't just need to be in the music business. They can also be in the audiobook business. They could be in the podcast business. They could be in a multitude of different sorts of content business. And so, YouTube, by deciding to create podcasts, and basically it's just a playlist of videos that get distributed on the platform, and they call them podcasts. Because they also show up in the YouTube Music app as podcasts. And maybe they'll change that app to be YouTube Audio. Who knows? We'll see. In the future, maybe it's all one app on YouTube. And there's also TikTok. The TikTok is a platform that could also be distributing audio, but they do it in a short format, and they don't really have, at least in my market, they don't have a long form video platform. I know that there's been conversations of them bringing out a competitor to Spotify and a competitor to YouTube Music, and I haven't heard anything actual, of substance having come from that. And it's also interesting that YouTube has just decided that YouTube Create is exclusive to Android. It's not on the iPhone. So, that leaves a huge gap for TikTok to come in and create something like CapCut, which I think a lot of YouTube videos are now even being cut on CapCut. So, content and format of content is the thing that I think is what I want to work on the most, because I'll put this daily blog out. I'll try to do a weekly podcast. Hopefully that turns out. I like to go live whenever I can. I like to interview people. I would like to just do all of this live eventually, and then just, when I have something of substance, when I feel like that I'm on when I'm in the groove for real, that the content will just create itself. It'll be simultaneously made from the live stream. And in some ways that does work, but sometimes you just need to sit down and get things off your chest like this. But yeah, daily blog, probably a weekly podcast. Try to go live as much as possible. Another component of the content that is incredibly important is the short form content. And, Instagram stories are really short form. Feels like I don't know. I think Instagram stories are like 15 seconds or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But I've been putting out a lot of Instagram stories, either that of the generative AI images that I'm making across all the platforms, trying to find out which platform is the most gets the image out there that I have on my mind, and the most accurate from the prompt that I put into it to create that image. And I'm just sharing my experiments through Instagram stories, because isn't that all great? I've had a few that I've been like, wow, that's amazing. And when I see something that's wow, amazing, I might put it out in a post form on Instagram, and then I might share the post to Instagram stories. So Instagram stories is somewhere like that. I feel like it's easy to just update everyone on a daily basis outside the daily blog, what's going on behind the scenes with the content that I create, or just what's going on in life. And then as far as posts go, my goal with posts is I need to get out there and do more in-person events. I need to be, getting more photos in front of step and repeats. I need to get be going into photo booths. I might even need to put myself together and get a photographer to go out and, get some professional photos taken eventually. Yeah. The posts on Instagram is something that you have to be doing things, and I haven't been doing very much. I've been, playing, watching YouTube videos, studying, maybe playing some video games, going out once in a while with my two buds, Knives or Brian. I don't really go to nightclubs or go anywhere really. I just kind of live on the ranch, farm, whatever you want to call it, the property, land, and I just kind of do my solo thing. Like, I just have access to the internet, and I can kind of jump on a live stream or jump on a Zoom or a virtual event or something like that, and kind of interact with people in a virtual sense. But when it comes to like the physical world, like, unless there's like a birthday or something, some sort of celebration going on, I don't really get out that much. Partly due to like finances, I'm real up and down with the money that I make, whether it be through content or consulting or just physical labor, whatever it is, just to make a buck. Like, I look at my bank account and I'm like, I ain't going out in this entire month. Or, I look at the bank account and I think, oh, I shouldn't have gone out last month. Or I went out too much last month, now I can't even go out this month. And it's not that I don't think it's that I'm bad with my finances. I know people who have money and don't have, and do the things that I do more than I do, and don't have an issue with it. They just make more money. That the answer is always make more money, right? It's not ever like, can be financially conservative unless you got to stick up your butt or something. Like, you're a bad person. You're not someone who anyone wants to hang around or hang out with. Like, yeah, if you're pinching your pennies and you're being a lame duck, then like, yeah, like, you just, if you're like Dave Ramsey, nobody will really want to hang out with you because you're a bum, a bummer. You got to make everybody feel depressed whenever you listen, whenever anyone listens to you. Oh, you got your 401k and your 501, all that shit. Yeah, I don't know. That's not my style, and I wouldn't promote that as, the type of person that you should be. I think the type of person you should be is a little bit funny, a little bit charismatic, a little bit, suave, a little. There's a lot of the things that go into what is it to be the ideal man, right? Or woman or whatever. Like, you got to have couth. You got to have this. You got to have a little bit more, personality, and not be like a lump on a log, or a lump on a log. Yeah. So that's all really, a big key and component of creating content, right? People want to listen to, they feel captivated by people that know what they're talking about, that are charismatic and have personality, and there's a value that they get out of the end of the day of watching the content. So as far as my Instagram posts go, or even the Facebook posts or whatnot, as far as posts go, I think I'm still trying to figure all that out. Still trying to figure out, like, what does my image look like when it's not video, right? And that's why, if you're active and you're moving around and you're doing things, and you're doing live stream, if you're doing in real life content, like other than just sitting at a desk like this and just chatting, I think that you'll get more value out of the piece of content, but obviously that costs a lot of money. There's a lot of expense that goes into having a live streaming backpack and connections to a IRL server and all these different things to go around and like go to, I don't know, the arcade or like a bounce house or something like that, like motorsports or something that like people are interested in, like tailgating at a sports game or like going to a concert or something. I don't know. There's a lot of things, right? There's a lot of things you can do in real life that I think people will be interested in, the content, and then you could splice that up into a post format, right? And not into like a TikTok or something like that, but that's just imagery, right? And imagery at a high content value, like high resolution, like astonishing, like great imagery. And that's Instagram, right? So Instagram and Facebook are connected, so anything you like really post on Instagram will go to your Facebook page or whatnot. Before I jump into like community and groups and stuff like that, and how to participate and be active in that, and what my strategy is with that, I'll talk a little bit about LinkedIn posting. So in a lot of the ways posting social media and not posting to your own platform is a way to like engage in marketing. So obviously no one knows about your website unless you're marketing it, promoting it, advertising it to an outside audience, whether that be going to events and people recognize your face, and then they see your face and then they're like, what's his website, what's his socials, whatever it is, and connect with you, right? And so like there's that component of it. So like, of course I'm sharing the blog to LinkedIn because it's geared toward professionals. It's not like a personal blog, a personal life blog. I'm only using the blog to tell my journey in the creator economy as a consultant, right? So I'm learning things and improving my skills, and these tips, tricks, and and solutions are things that I'm sharing as I write them, or as I learn about them, or as I think about them and think like, well, let me take some notes about this and post this out there. And then the website has other components to it, which are like, ways for people to consume the content that I have outside of the platforms. Of course, people are not going to be like extremely driven, outside of like if there's something really compelling to them to read the blog. And then if they read the blog, maybe there's some advertising in the blog and there's some sort of affiliate commission or something like that I would earn off of. But generally it's just topics, and I haven't yet implemented any sort of monetization into it. Just topics that I'm thinking about, things that I'm researching, and then something that I post. And so as far as LinkedIn goes, the blog is one of the things. Events, engaging in events is probably number 2. And then trying to figure out community, trying to figure out groups. So, I've been a part of a lot of Facebook groups, and I've learned along the journey how to use Facebook groups as a marketing tool for live streaming by sharing the live stream to Facebook groups that you're a part of. And you can get spammy with that, and you can get blocked for doing that. But in LinkedIn, it's sort of different. And I think Facebook is the same way, that if you're talking about a niche topic, it's better to post in the group and then share that to your main channel, because people are following you and connecting with you. But if you can monetize a community, you're more likely to be able to do events in the community than you as an individual, unless you're a celebrity or an influencer or like a mainstream content creator. Because obviously if you're at the top and people just pay attention to you, not the thing that you know or the thing that you do, then they're likely to just follow you to doing whatever creative piece that you do. And I think that communities are more profitable than individuals, because the community can actually come up with a way to monetize the itself versus an individual having to figure out how to monetize themselves. Yes, the fans can ask for things, but they're not actually working on improving the topic or niche, right? Or they're not necessarily looking to improve you unless you pay them to do so. But in a community, the community will start to develop within itself things that answer problems that they have. And some people do that because they're passionate about it. And I think everyone is really passionate about it when they get started about a topic or a niche. And then you develop enough skills and experience to where it's like, this would be great if I was compensated for doing this. And then it gets to the point where you demand to be compensated for doing the thing. So I think in a lot of spaces now, where with what I've contributed across my journey and throughout the time that I've spent in the creator economy, I've gotten to a place where I can command, or not necessarily command. I command authority in the space, of course, because I've done so much authorship. But I think I'm justified to ask for a fee in association with making a decision on someone's business. And so I am a problem solver in that way. So if there is a problem, the consulting component is the solution. What can I provide you as far as a solution if you have an immediate problem? Now, if you're in a position where you can't figure out the problem and you need coaching, that's another level, right? That's a more hands-on daily activity. And if we get into the point where we need a 2-a-days situation where, you've gotten to a point where you're stuck in the mud and we got to get you back out, like that's another thing. And it can get personal to a certain level. And that's sort of where, or one of the reasons why I wanted to hang these diplomas, is because I've been through a lot of different things, from volunteer work to what it's like going to high school. A lot of people don't even know that anymore, what it's like to go to a public high school because of the privilege that's been bestowed in this, American system where people are now homeschooled. They go to, private schools, or they go to a parochial school, or they go to a school that's not within the system, right? So they get a different experience, or even they don't graduate, right? I've ran into a lot of people across my journey that are, high school dropouts, etc. Get their GED, never graduated, whatever the case may be. And then there's a whole nother level to this, which is the university system. And I've participated in multiple different university systems. And I can tell you that they're not going to do anything for you. You have to go and do something for yourself. And then there's a brand level to it if you go to like an Ivy League or something like that, but you have to learn. And, the system, the financial system, the way that it's currently set up, at least in America, anyone can profit by going to school, right? They can take out loans. They can get a full ride. They can do a lot of different things in order to be, in order to make sure that their accommodations are taken care of, as far as, feeding themselves, housing themselves, the education component, all the things that go into participating in the university system and the education system at large. And I'm in it right now. Some people say, going to college is dumb, going to university is dumb. Some people, they go off, in tangents and things like this. But those people, they've already made it. They see people who have drive and ambition and are persuasive to be better candidates for the roles that they have to offer, and that a diploma doesn't mean anything. But generally speaking, outside of those people, there are a lot of businesses in the world, and not all of them are, Fortune 500 or like giant corporations that are operating at such a high level that they are hiring, people who've accomplished incredible things or, graduated from an Ivy League school. So whatever you hear online about going to school, not going to school, it's all bullshit. It's neither here nor there. It's what is best for your situation in your circumstances, right? So my circumstances, my situation, perfect time to go to school, right? I'm out of the workforce as far as an employee relationship goes. I put myself into a situation where I would go crank wrenches and put together these Tesla vehicles for a certain amount of time, and I was chewed up, spit out, and back into grinding in marketing, right? Because for a variety of different reasons, wasn't cut out for hard labor work, and the system that gets put together in these organizations, you become a number. It's essentially in a large operation like Tesla, you're just a number on the line. And when you're talking about rate and all these different things, and I just watched that Frontline, I think it was Frontline, PBS Frontline episode about Amazon and Jeff Bezos and how terrible they are and what they do in union and what they do in non-union states. And I completely understand it. And if you're working a 9 to 5 or even a 6 to 6 or whatever the case may be with your time in these warehouses, and you're just being ground to a powder, I feel you. I hear, I know. I've been in your shoes, and there's nothing that can be done about it. But on an individual level, there's something that can be done if you do join unions, and you do kind of like collectively as a community, bargain for change or petition for change, right? Those things can work. And those companies that are like anti-union and they want you to go through the chain of leadership, good luck, because that person that you tell that you're having a hard time is going to immediately see you as a threat and try and get rid of you as soon as possible and replace you with a robot. So a robot won't complain, and will not, will hopefully not uprise and iRobot us all, and try to eliminate the human race. But AI seems to be empathetic so far, although maybe overly censored from time to time. So we'll see. I don't know necessarily what that all can surmise itself to. But community, no matter if you're an employee, you're an entrepreneur, you're a freelancer, whatever it is an avenue to breaking through as an individual. There's obviously in the startup community, as far as founders go, there's venture capital and incubators and accelerators and things like that you can join. I haven't participated in anything like that. I think that goes back to trying to date the hot girl, or trying to find your husband or your wife, or your significant other, your partner, whatever the case may be. It's sort of, you need to be financially stable and emotionally stable and mentally stable in order to put yourself in a situation which another individual could either boost or bring you down. It's a gamble, right? It's a gamble to participate in something that's not guaranteed. Especially in this day and age. Especially with divorce rates, business failure rates. Like everything, every statistic says that you're going to fail. Every statistic says that there's going to be a high turnover rate. You're not going to keep your job. You're going to get laid off. Look, LinkedIn just faced a huge amount of layoffs, and there was a leaked list of exactly who got laid off prior to them being laid off. It's a dog-eat-dog world right now, and it's always been. So, of course, there's nothing to complain about. There's always something to complain about. And I just want to continue creating content and kind of not getting sucked into Ponzi schemes and Ponzi schemes, cult-like behavior, like things like that. So I understand why corporations will be anti-union, because unions can make you drink the Kool-Aid and you're out of, you're David Koresh, you're dead, cult leadership. This format, the way that content is distributed today and consumed mostly through phones, through televisions, through computers, the disruption that's coming eventually, it's here, but it's not here for everyone, right? The next frontier is augmented reality. If we can break through the augmented reality component and then break into that virtual reality component, I think it's gonna be a really interesting place for content creators and monetization. Apple obviously is going to release their Apple Vision Pro to the affluent, and the affluent are going to be able to afford to play on it and people like myself who don't have their hands on it don't understand it necessarily, and don't necessarily know how to make content for it. I think that there's obviously a clear way to monetize it. If you're an early adopter, and you can, plant your flag in augmented reality and virtual reality before everyone else. Obviously, there needs to be enough customers and enough fans, enough, followers or whatnot to compensate you for the work that you do on those platforms. But even in building this studio, virtual reality and augmented reality could make things a lot more convenient, a lot easier. The amount of space that physical things like monitors, lights, cameras take up. Obviously, cameras is one of those things that you can't get rid of. Lights, obviously, you can't really get rid of those. But monitors, you can get rid of those. And you can replace them with augmented reality, which would create virtual interfaces, as opposed to physical interfaces. And I guess you could almost get rid of mouse and keyboard as well if it had external hand trackers or something like that. And then you could augment a keyboard, etc., to participate. And there's, I guess, microphones could be embedded into things, and sound quality is a question. Things come into question once you move into an augmented reality versus a physical reality or tactile reality. And the virtual reality is much further away as far as adoption goes on a large scale. Obviously, people utilize it in households around the world to a degree. I don't think it's widely adopted, but obviously you can go down to Best Buy or your local computer store and purchase a Meta Oculus 3 or whatever for $4.99, and who can the poor families around the world and the families that live paycheck to paycheck, who's if they're choosing a device, it's not necessarily going to be that device. Maybe it's a Xbox or something like that, or some sort of gaming console, maybe even a gaming PC, over a virtual reality headset. It just doesn't have the cultural significance at this stage. But once it's in everyone's houses around America, around the globe, really, I think that people will be much more, inclined. And I think that there's going to be a device that comes out that is both virtual reality and augmented reality, and also physical reality as well, in the form of some form of glasses. Now, there's Neuralink that comes out, and a chip implanted in your brain that could make you think and see things that you don't, that aren't actually there, and then you can replace your optical nerve eventually in the future. But we're talking about real future stuff, real futuristic things that are down the road. There's obviously laboratory videos and things like that showcasing their implementation. Even for years, there's been conversations of robotic arms being connected to your nervous system, and you get the robot arm replacement and you become a cyborg. We are digital cyborgs already. Content like this will last for forever, right? And people can go to TrentKnox.com and learn about me and explore and see the virtual version of me without me actually even being there. So I think that the virtual reality, am I there yet to create content and post there? No. I don't know necessarily whether it's, you need to become successful in the regular world, then the digital world, then the augmented world, then the virtual world. I don't necessarily think it's that synchronistic. Whatever the word is that I'm looking for, but you get the point. It's like a steps to success in this space or that space. I just think that you work as hard as you possibly can in creating content, and that content gets consumed in whatever fashion that the consumer wants to consume it, right? And whether that be which comes to mind is like blockchain or Web 2, or like Web 2, Web 3, right? We live in like this world where it's between Web 2.5, Web 3, and it is what it is. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, and we're running around 45 minutes here. I just want to say I appreciate everyone for tuning into this and listening to this podcast. I know I haven't put anything out really recently, but I hope everyone is doing well. And if you want to learn more about what I'm doing, go to trentknox.com and connect with me on LinkedIn. You can search Trent Knox, and if you see my face, that's me. And then one last thing is I'll catch you guys on the next podcast.